what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football. I'm lifetime Longhorn Rod Davis, and welcome back to The Winning Drive. I am pleased to be joined by fellow lifetime Longhorn, the young prodigy C.J. Vogel, and, of course, our coach, former high school football coach at Vernon, Capel, Brownwood, Belton, Rotan, also played college football at Abilene Christian, coached there as well, and was on the staff at the University of Texas for multiple head football coaches. It's our own coach, Bob Shipley. Now you can catch his work. Dude, boom, how you like that? ShipleyRanches.com. Oh, by the way, if you want to know where to get these hats, because people always ask me when they see me, suedeandshieldco.com.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Ooh. All right, got it right. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, so there you go. Because people they do ask me every time they see me, like, "Hey, what do you get?" There you go. Go check it out. Boom. All right. Even on the street, people ask, "Hey, is that the Shipley Ranches?" I was like, "Yeah, hey, it's only one, baby. It's only one."
There's only one. That's right.
Only one. Okay. So happy St. Patty's Day.
Yeah.
Holiday edition of the show. Happy St. Patty's Day to everybody out there. Hey, what's up? Thank you guys for joining us. Hey, Drew, appreciate you joining us. Appreciate all you guys, no matter where you're from. You guys know you can drive the show any direction you want to, so drop it in there. Super Chats jump to the front of the line. You can interrupt the show at any time. We'll try to address as many comments as we can. The Texas men, of course, made the NCAA tournament. No shock. I mean, the ladies are a top seed in the NCAA tournament, but the men actually made the NCAA tournament. They're going to face Xavier. You can talk about a little bit about that if you guys want to, because I guess the drama is that Coach Terry is coaching essentially, with the job on the line, as a lot of Longhorn fans believe to be the case. So there's some drama about, hey, how far does he have to go to save his job? I know we'll get into that if you guys want to. But I got some topics that we'll dive into. My man, Chris Sims, lifetime Longhorn Chris Sims, does a lot of analyst work for the NFL. He has done his quarterback rankings for the quarterback prospects coming out in this year's draft. And we'll see where he has Quinn Ewers ranked and talk about that a little bit coming up on the show. Also, Saturday Down South, it is they are an outlet that covers the SEC, have been for years. They actually do a lot of good work covering college football. And they have a prediction about the Texas defense that we'll get into coming up a little bit later on the show as well. I got a couple of questions about the team and spring practice and the 2025 team. One is about Arch Manning, and we'll get into that coming up. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about the 12% rule. I've been finding out about this, so we'll get into that too coming up, because something about Texas in 2024, which was actually pretty surprising in relation to that 12% rule that I want to get into coming up, and we'll dive into that coming up a little bit later on in the show. All right, so first and foremost, it is St. Patty's Day, and it's March Madness. So a lot of people getting, taking this day. Not March Madness has officially started, but St. Patty's Day, and then, of course, everybody's now getting their brackets finalized. So I got a question. CJ, how many brackets do you fill out? Because you just a one bracket person?
Just one.
I thought I could have sworn you was going to be 4-5.
I'm a one bracket guy, Rod. This is my best shot. This is what I think. I'm not here to do the whole upset bracket. No, I go for perfection. I shoot for that perfection on one bracket.
Wow.
So yeah, you hear me talking about my bracket, it's either going to be good or really bad, because there's no in between. And the last couple of years, it's been pretty bad. So I'm a one bracket guy.
Everybody's bad. I mean, it's very if you hit on your bracket and you're one of the best brackets, mostly it was by luck. Yes. All right. Usually, the more you know, the less it helps you when it comes to March Madness if it's not your bracket. Coach, I don't even know if you're into this.
Yeah, my March Madness is over. March Madness for me, with like 14 grandkids, is spring break.
Okay?
Oh man.
It's over. We accomplished. We came. We conquered. And now March Madness is nothing but a dream in my rearview mirror. It's over with. All the March Madness is over with in my family. I'm rooting for UT. Other than that, I don't give a flip who wins.
Hold up. Do you have you got to take care of all the grandkids? Y'all ain't got how many people?
Oh man, I can't even remember how many of them I had at the Broken Oak Ranch last week.
Wow. They just dropped them off.
I don't even know if I could count them all. It was a lot.
They just drop them off, Coach, and then don't just.
Yeah, no. We had parents hanging around, but it's still, they all want to be with Bobo, because I spoiled them rotten, So it was madness for a few days, but it's over now. So
there you go.
they got
like
some kind of basketball tournament coming up. I don't know anything about that.
All right, see, I figured coach got other stuff going on, but there you go. But he's right. He's like a lot of folks who are watching us. Hey, just rooting for the Longhorns to go as far as they can. So if you want to get into that, we can do that coming up on the show. But congrats, of course, to the ladies because I mean, no doubt. I mean, that's a top seed in the tournament. But congrats to the men. A lot of people thought that that they would make it or might be the first one out or something like that. But the Longhorns keep hope alive and they stay. Hopefully can keep Rodney Terry's, keep his position as the head basketball coach if they win enough games in the tournament. So we'll get into that. But first and foremost, let me ask you about this because this is something that I asked Bobby and I asked Jerry about it too the other day because I wasn't sure. And I don't know if it's been announced. And sometimes I know, CJ's got some inside knowledge and coach. I know you know a lot of people. And you've actually been a part of one of these. They have the coaching clinic coming up. I don't know. It's April, early April, right?
Yeah.
April 11th, somewhere around there. They haven't announced the keynote speaker yet for the coaching clinic, for Texas football's coaching clinic. It's been, some of the biggest names, right, that you can imagine. Sean McVay did it, I believe, last year. Kyle Shanahan did the year before that. I believe Dan Quinn was a part of one of the early ones as well. So it was a big name. Coach, you organized a few of these.
Yeah. Back when we had the head coach of the University of North Carolina, current head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels was our biggest guest speaker I had when I was here.
That's crazy. Yeah,
back then he was head coach of the New England Patriots.
Yeah. Who's dating? How old is she again, CJ? How old is his current girlfriend? Do you know?
I think right around my age.
She's like co-ed. No. I think she is. She is.
27 maybe.
She's young, and they got a picture of them on the beach, and like he's like lift. I don't know. It seems like it's some AI stuff, but it's real. Bill Belichick is living his best life. God bless that man.
Look, that's a good life right there.
Good life for him, man. Anyway, yes, there it is.
Oh my goodness,
look at Bill.
That's a grandpa and his granddaughter out doing yoga.
Hey.
24. Oh.
24, man. Bill is, that's what I'm saying. He's, Anyway, I don't want to get too deep into that.
I wonder what the dean at North Carolina is thinking right now.
Hey, that's how you know it's all about wins. It's all about wins. What do you say when you go into recruit somebody and then you have to talk to a mama who may know about that and she asks you about that? What do you say if you're Belichick? Just like,
hey, I'm the ultimate recruiter. How is an old guy like me, this 24-year-old? Okay? Trust the process. Trust the process.
Yeah.
That's it, coach.
Hey, there you go. That's a good. Hey, he can recruit. That's for damn sure. All right. Anyway, sorry to get into that. The man can recruit, as we know. All right. Hold up. I got a question for you. So the question there is, who's going to be the keynote speaker in you guys' mind, though? That's the question I have. Because I asked them, and I wanted to figure out who you guys think is going to be the keynote speaker. It's usually the best way to approach it is somebody in the Shanahan tree.
Yeah.
Or close to it. Because it's been Shanahan himself, or Kyle Shanahan, not Mike. Oh, get Mike Shanahan.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, speaking of the Shanahan tree, but he's brought in now.
Could be Nick Saban.
That's a good one, Coach.
I actually like that a lot, Coach.
That's a good one. Part of the media now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like he ain't dating co-ed, so I think he's probably available.
He's got what's her name? Miss Terry or something?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, he can't do that. Belichick was, he was single and ready to mingle. We just didn't know he liked 24-year-olds. That he's 72 and she's 24, so we didn't know. But I mean, hey, good for him. I'm happy for him. Anyway, I don't want to get obsessed with that. But who y'all think is going to be? Because Belichick has 1 point before one of the previous coaches had been a keynote speaker. I had actually threw out there. What about Andy Reid?
I was going to go that same route, Rod. Because look, you've had McVay, you've had Shanahan. I believe McDaniel has been around as well. Like, if you talk about all the coaches that Sark's kind of taken bits and pieces of his offense from and made it his own.
Yeah.
The one name that's missing right now is Andy Reid, right?
Yeah.
And we've seen them trade off plays before, the triple reverse,
Players,
a hurricane with like you got your quarterback spinning around like a carousel basically for that handoff. That Chiefs took it. They've taken plays from the Chiefs. I think Andy Reid would probably be that next up. Now, he didn't win a Super Bowl this year, so maybe there's some nuggets that he's trying to keep under wraps for next year. But I think that would be a tremendous get for him to be around campus. Obviously, you got the Xavier Worthy connection now too. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. No, that's one of the first names that comes to mind. Another one is that we brought up. I don't even know. Could you get Ben Johnson is the hottest offensive mind right now, just kind of ascending in the community of football, of football theorists, if you will.
Yeah.
But he's busy. I mean, it is his first year, so it probably would be a lot to ask him to do that. So,
who just got hired in Jacksonville? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator had Baker throwing for like 4,500 yards.
Oh yes, he's from the McVay tree, isn't he?
I was thinking that might be. You might see, Liam Cohen.
Liam Cohen.
If you haven't heard him say Duval in his introductory press conference, it's something to behold. But I'm not even going to try to recreate it because that's going to go wrong. But innovative offense last year at Tampa Bay. They didn't have they kind of had an offense kind of similar to Texas, right? Your running game wasn't where it was expected to be, but you made do with what you had, right? You had Mike Evans on the outside. He was dinged up a whole lot. You had Chris Godwin, who missed a lot of the season as well. You had to rely a lot on Cade Otton at the tight end position. That's where Gunnar Helm comes in. And then you also had, who was the Washington wide receiver, Jalen McMillan, that they really like out there as well. Texas had to do some shuffling of the wide receiver room last year. Plus, the tight end was a big part. You had a makeshift run game. There's a lot of parallels there. It'd be interesting to see if he's the one that comes in as well.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. I see another one saying, oh, here it goes.
Duval.
Dude, it's so bad.
And what is it the county?
Duval County. It's Jacksonville.
Yeah.
It's a big rally cry for them.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I'm a Texas fan, so the Jacksonville, that's little brother. All right, that division to the Texans. So I feel that. All right, let's. But Pete Carroll's another one I saw here. Forrest Eldridge brought that up. Thank you for that. Pete Carroll would be a nice one. Kind of going along with the Nick Saban thing, two of his kind of top mentors. Coaching thing too. So his cadence is a tad off about the Duval thing. Yeah, I don't even know where it came from. I do remember seeing it on Twitter a lot, seeing it on social media a lot. So I know it was a thing. All right, with them. All right. Thank you very much for your you guys' suggestions on that. I wonder when it's going to be announced, though. I don't know how long that is. He definitely knows by now, or maybe he's waiting. I would think he knows by now who it is. And I was just wondering why it's not out there already, because they did announce the coaching clinic and when that was going to happen. I know that was the case. All right. We'll get to some questions here, and then we'll get back to some of the topics that I wanted to get to, but. This is from Shivam first. He says, hey guys, do you think Aaron Butler can move up the depth chart with Moore out for the spring? There's a lot of roles that are, I think, going to be up for grabs, or at least there are a lot of roles undefined this spring. And the wide receiver room, not only for whoever that third receiver is going to be, because we know Moore and Wingo are going to be two of those guys, but Moore is out. There's a lot of reps available to showcase yourself this spring. Could Aaron Butler be one of those guys that ends up really proving himself with those extra snaps available?
Yeah, I think so. And I put up an article earlier today at ontexasfootball.com, kind of highlighting 5 or 6 guys that I think need to take that step. And Butler was mentioned amongst them. Look, there's no reason for him to not be in that group, right? He's going into year 2 right now. He's one of the few guys on the roster at the wide receiver spot who have been in the system for multiple years now. When you talk about Ryan Wingo, DeAndre Moore, Parker Livingstone, Freddie DeBose, those are the 5. Well, Freddie DeBose, we don't know what he's going to provide because of his ACL still lingering from a year ago. You don't have DeAndre Moore this year. We figure Ryan Wingo's got his spot solidified. And then it's up to Parker Livingstone and Aaron Butler to make that jump up. And I also made the note last week as well, when Texas goes out and throws on air, they have those in practice kind of throwing sessions. The first group of wide receivers at the moment are Wingo, Livingstone, and Butler. So he's working in that first group. Now he's got to fend off the 4 freshmen at wide receiver, but absolutely to have that leg up, that's huge. And the one thing I would provide some sort of caution to here is we had this same conversation around this time a year ago about Jonte Cook saying, okay, you've got the leg up, right? It's you and DeAndre Moore and a bunch of guys who don't know or haven't been around this playbook. You got to go out there and make the plays whenever they're available to you. You got to run the right routes, get to the right depth, catch the football. That's a big part of it. So for Butler specifically, the opportunity is there. And I'm hoping that he takes that next step because Texas desperately needs that at wide receiver right now. But it's going to be up to him to go out there and prove it, something that Cook did not do a year ago.
Yeah, no, you're right. And everybody thought Cook had all the advantages, which I believe he did. And just shows you that, hey, man, if you don't make the right decisions and you're not, positive and constructive for the culture there in Texas, man, you can lose that spot. So we'll see what Aaron Butler does if he can move up that depth chart. We were talking about Aaron Butler. I wonder on special teams if Aaron Butler's a guy that could showcase himself as well, start to earn some of the trust of the coaches. All right. How about this is from Tom? Says, hey, Rod, what position would you have played if you could have played whatever you wanted, even if a different body type would be required? Oh, man, if I could play whatever I wanted. That's a great – not necessarily bodies. Everybody wants to play quarterback, right? If you could play – everybody – when you start playing football in the street, right, before you get into, playing for different teams or your schools or whatever, all right. What position did you want to play? Did you want to be a skill guy and go out there and play? Did you want to play defense? Did you want to play quarterback? I think I liked playing quarterback back then, and I wasn't great at it, but it was just the responsibility of having, everybody having to be able to delegate. All right, Noah, do this, and just be able to think the game through. Right, looking at your opponent, what's available. Oh man, running this route. Oh, he can't run with you. You're fast. Let's get you matched up on him. So even though I had no arm to play quarterback, so as soon as I started ascending in any type of football program, you're like, no, you're gonna play cornerback, or you're gonna play wide receiver or whatever. But it is. I was into the mental part of the game. Like I was really into the mental part of the game, and how. And the how and the why, the motive of the formation and the scheme and the personnel grouping. And I didn't start to really understand it to Coach Aquino, but I knew even back then, I was like, man, there's got to be more to that. Like, why did they do what they did to try to, to gain that fundamental advantage? What was it? Was it leverage? Was it just, that's a great player? Did they get the matchup they wanted? How, all those, the chess match within the game. So but the quarterbacks are the one, they got to be chess masters. They're the ones who get to control the chess match of the game. Everybody else is pretty much a piece on the board. Quarterback gets to control it. Head coach gets to control it. So that's what I was intrigued by. But I can play wide receiver. That's the only thing I can play that could be a glamour position. Cornerback, the only reason cornerback is a glamour position is because Deion Sanders made it that way. They got Derek Stingley getting all this money. You still got to thank Deion for that, because Deion made cornerback glamorous when it wasn't necessarily glamorous. There were a lot of other positions that became glamorous, and cornerback wasn't a glamorous position. He made it glamorous. And I became a cornerback. I wanted to be 21. I was 21 because of Deion.
Yeah.
Be like Deion. I wanted to be number 2 because he was number 2 in college, but I wanted to be like Deion because Deion made playing cornerback cool. And I had some skills, as you guys know, not great hands, but I had some skills to play cornerback, even though in high school I played wide receiver, so I think it was more the influence of Deion. And I was like, I want to be cool like Deion. Never was like Deion, never was even close. But ended up playing the position because of that. There you go.
Yeah, makes sense. If I could redo my whole build, my whole football career, if I could just pick, like create a player back in the day, you log into Madden, you create your guy, and you go through the drafts, whatever. I'd love to be a defensive end, man. Be about 6'5", coming off the edge, about 260. Mm-hmm. Oh, man, I'd probably be getting worked a little bit by some of those Cam Williamses of the world, I'll be honest. But I think that would just be a lot of fun to be in the trenches, get after the quarterback. That'd be great. That's a life I'll never live, but.
That's a good question, Tom. It is. Coach, you were like a fullback, right?
Yep. That was me.
But you always want to play fullback? Would you want to play something else?
No, I wanted to be more glamorous, like a running back.
Yeah, it comes from the same tree, basically.
Yeah. No, man.
I wanted to be, back in the day, I love watching Roosevelt Leaks run, Earl Campbell run, and there was a running back for the Dallas Cowboys named Dwayne Thomas. And I love Dwayne Thomas because he ran so hard. And I tried to emulate him, even to the point that when I gave the ball to the ref, I just barely made it back to the line of scrimmage. That's what Dwayne would do. He's like, he barely made it back to the huddle, and he'd get back in the stance. And then when the ball was fired, the ball was snapped, boom, he was shot out of a cannon. So I'd walk back to the huddle real slow, kind of limping along like Dwayne Thomas. He wore number 33. I wore number 37 for Doak Walker because he was one of my dad's teammates at SMU.
Wow.
And so I just wore 37 for that. But when I was in high school, when I got to 37, when I got to college, we didn't have 37. I had to wear 38. But
wow.
Yeah. Hey,
that's pretty sweet.
Just like we're going to make America great, I want to make the fullback great again.
Hey, Texas don't even have a fullback.
I know. They wouldn't even. I couldn't even be a manager on that team.
Who was the last Texas fullback? Who was the last one then? Who was the last of the
it's probably
was it Beck? I think Beck was like a fullback kind of. He was like a
more tight end, right?
Yeah, Aaron De La Torre maybe.
De La Torre? Okay.
De La Torre, yeah, maybe. He wore number 36 back when, in the late, 2007, 2008 era, I think.
Damn, that's crazy. Doesn't even exist. I would love to see a study. I guess we could just kind of do it, but I don't have the time. But to go see how many rosters actually have a fullback in college football. Because the NFL, I believe the NFL is like down to like a quarter of the league. Like a quarter, like a third, maybe a third of the league has an actual one on the roster. Like Jim Harbaugh definitely has one. But there, like maybe the Ravens have one, but not every team has like a true fullback. They may be a big tailback that they may use in some power situations. But right.
Actually, it was Alex De La Torre. Aaron was his father, who was a head coach up at Irving MacArthur, and then up in that area. He passed away a couple of years ago, maybe last year, I think. Yeah, Alex De La Torre was the last fullback I remember, and there was a guy we signed out of Plantation, Florida, who wound up being a tight end, but he was a fullback for a while. A white guy. He played in the NFL as a tight end for a while. He may still be in the league. I can't remember. I think he was from Plantation, Florida. I think it was.
Did he get drafted?
No, I think he signed as a free agent. His dad was retired military. I kind of think maybe. I think maybe Mac recruited him, and then maybe Charlie Strong signed him. I can't remember for sure. He was a line Beck, maybe was he?
Yeah, Andrew Beck. He went to Plant.
Yeah. He was a linebacker, then they moved him.
He's playing fullback now in the league. He was with the Jets. I think he still is with the Jets. Actually, he's with the Jets now. He has with the Texans for a while too.
Yeah.
He was a situation they did use, but you're right, CJ. He was a tight end. But situations, I do remember them kind of putting them at fullback sometimes. That's why,
believe it or not, Coach, he has a kickoff return for a touchdown in the NFL. Who would have ever thought?
No way.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. Yeah. I remember seeing that a year or two ago.
I don't think I ever had that on my bingo card for him specifically, but it was a heck of a return.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, Jets Jets one of them teams that got a fullback on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
I do think every team should have one, but I get why they don't because – hell, now teams go shotgun in power situations. We talk about that all the time with Texas. They don't go into center. They go shotgun.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I see one of the things I think you'll see more from Texas actually with Arch in there is under center. Not saying it's going to be a big part of the offense, but I think they'll go under center just a little bit more.
I can see that.
Just a little bit more. Because I think you'll have a few more power situations, number one, and they'll get back to some of the old school play action. I'm talking about old school.
Yeah, how many of those snaps go straight through his legs to a wide or to a running back waiting to take it, huh?
That's true. Hey, that's good point there. Good point. How about this from Tom? And then we'll get to one of our sponsors. Tom says, as a Canadian, thank you, Tom, joining us from Canada. It literally shocked me to find out that UT has a hockey team. Have you ever been to a game? Where do they even play? I heard they were going to the Natty, different division. Whoa.
Club team. Club. Just like men's soccer, it's club.
Wow.
Yeah, and like men's rowing, it's club.
Yeah.
No scholarships. Got to raise your own money.
Yeah.
So as a Canadian, as Trump would say, 51st state. Is that not the dumbest thing the guy? I mean, he said a lot of dumb things. That was the top 10 to me.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I do remember that statement. Yeah, I think he said something about Greenland too. Hey man,
forgive us, Tom. Forgive us.
But yeah, I'm looking at the website right now, TexasIceHockey.com.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it right now.
They play like Westgate Mall or something.
Yeah, they play up.
That's a great question.
There's an ice rink north or out of 35 somewhere.
Cedar Park.
Cedar Park, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. There is. Yeah, that's where the Stars play there, like the
Texas Stars.
Yeah.
That I learned something new every day. God bless you, Tom. I actually did not know. I've saw your answer to the question. I've never been to a Texas Longhorn hockey game.
Mm-mm.
But now I gotta put it on the list. You know what would be cool? The jerseys, I imagine, be cool. What if you could get a Texas Longhorn ice jersey?
I wonder how many Texas Longhorn hockey jerseys
that's what I'm saying.
You see at football games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you bring in a hockey jersey, you be like, dude, where you get a Texas? What the? Because they can use like the actual Longhorn, right? They use the bro. I bet honestly they can make a lot of money if they start selling hockey jerseys.
You're only going to see those probably 2 games in
November.
That's
right. Whichever 2 are in December.
Yeah, maybe against Texas A&M and Arkansas this year, since those are both late in the season night games. But
they gotta make a summer version. You're right, like a Texas version. It's got to be made of some different material. This is fair. All right, but anyway, there you go. Thank you, Tom. Did not realize that. All right, let's get into one of our sponsors. Thank you to one of our sponsors, Ernie.com. Ernie.com, folks. March Madness is finally here. And for those out there who like to fill out all the different brackets and you love the bracket challenges, Ernie.com, they have the first ever intercollegiate bracket challenge. Think you've got the best bracket? Well, you can prove it against Oklahoma, Baylor, Texas A&M, and the entire Big 12 and SEC. The school with the most points will take home the Ernie Cup. You'll be competing against other fan bases from other schools around the country, and the highest scoring bracket, individual bracket, will actually win $5,000. Texas fans, this is your chance to show your knowledge. Don't let OU, A&M, or anyone take your crown. Rep your school and bring the Ernie Cup home. Download the Ernie Sports app. Or go to Ernie.com to enter right now. That's the Ernie Sports app. Download it, and you can enter the bracket challenge that way, or go to Ernie.com to enter right now. Thank you very much to Ernie.com for being a sponsor of the Winning Drive and being a part of the Owen Texas football family here. All right, got a question for you guys, and we'll get to some of your other questions too, but my man Chris Sims brought up his quarterback rankings. He's a lifetime Longhorn. I brought up his quarterback rankings for the prospects coming out. He's got Quinn Ewers as the number 5 ranked quarterback on his quarterback rankings. He's got him behind Kyle McCord at number 4, Jackson Dart at 3, Shedeur Sanders at 2, and Cam Ward at number 1. Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are clearly considered 1 and 2 in this quarterback class. I haven't seen much debate about anybody else leapfrogging those guys.
3 of those 5 are Texas high school quarterbacks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, good point.
Great point, Coach. You're right about that. So Texas quarterback is still the quarterback mecca, the state of Texas, for producing NFL and college quarterbacks, by the way. But what are your thoughts? Do you agree that Quinn Ewers may be 5? And if he is 5, that would track and align with some of the draft projections, which have him right now kind of floating in the 3rd round, right around there.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair, right? I think that conversation immediately after the NFL Combine was, all right, you got Cam Ward, you got Shedeur Sanders, and then right after that, it's going to be Jackson Dart and Quinn Ewers, right? That was kind of how things quickly escalated, up there for Quinn. But look, Kyle McCord led the country in passing yards this year, right? I know that his time at Ohio State didn't probably go the way that he was hoping. He goes over to Syracuse, puts up monstrous numbers, I believe close to about 5,000 passing yards this year alone. So for him to be at Syracuse, put the numbers up that he did, and Syracuse have the season that they did, it speaks more to his level of quarterbacking. I'm still not quite there yet with Jackson Dart. I know his numbers look really good from a box score perspective, but look, when you throw for 5 touchdowns against Furman and 7 against Georgia State, I would hope they look good, right? So, yeah, there were too many inconsistencies with Dart, right? Too many times in which Ole Miss just lost too many games that I sat there and said they should be winning these games, and they didn't have a whole lot of time for them necessarily for that offense to live up to what I thought it should have been. Point being, Quinn at 5, I think that's probably a fair ranking right now. He'll certainly be able to help himself in about a week. What is it, 8 days, Rod? Whenever that Texas Pro Day comes back out. So I think 5 is probably a good spot for him. 2nd, 3rd round.
Yeah. Pro Day will help him because Quinn looks great throwing, Coach. I mean, that's it. Even at the combine, we all knew he was going to look good, and everybody talked about how great he looked.
Yeah, I just wonder since the the torn oblique has gone public. I would put him more 3, certainly above Kyle McCord in my book if he's healthy. Maybe even above Jackson Dart. But I think that's not top 5. That's not bad. And I think after the pro day, those things will shake out the way they're supposed to.
Yeah. No, I can't wait to see what they think of the quarterbacks after Ward and after Sanders. And I think I do think those are kind of your top guys. If Quinn Ewers can end up leapfrogging those guys and becoming quarterback, maybe taking it in the 2nd round. And, Bobby talked about how rare that is. Not a lot of quarterbacks taking it in the 2nd round, actually. The NFL usually, if you're a quarterback that's teetering on being a 1st rounder, which means you're a 2nd rounder, they'll usually give you the benefit of the doubt because it's a desperate league for quarterbacks.
Right.
Or they'll decide, no, way too many negatives. And the negatives outweigh the positives in the overall evaluation. And for Quinn, I mean, the negatives to me are how he handles pressure, second reaction plays, off schedule, off script, how he, what he does when he's improvising as a player. And really I guess the deep ball accuracy is something else that could be kind of that negative data point against Quinn. But the big one is how he handles pressure. He just hasn't handled pressure really well his entire career. And he didn't really get better other than the Michigan game, which was, like I said, the Michigan game, he had a better Pro Football Focus grade. I remember this specifically because it blew my mind. He had a higher Pro Football Focus grade under pressure than he did with a clean pocket. He was magnificent under pressure. And he hasn't been able to replicate that consistently. So I think that's the big concern with Quinn. Injuries, by the way. That's another one. Sorry, injuries.
Yeah, injuries going to be concerned. What's going to be interesting is he came in at 214 at the combine, Rod. What does he weigh in at pro day? Do they ask him to run? What does he run? Because I think that was the expectation. He didn't run the 40 or do any on-field, agility drills for the quarterbacks in Indianapolis. Kind of that word behind the scenes is that Quinn in a 4.7 range would be a really good time for him. If that's something that he's able to come out there and put on the track there, that's a good sign for Quinn Ewers. Now, again, doesn't mean a whole lot, especially when you watch the tape and you don't necessarily ever see that. But it would at least give draft scouts and execs a deeper or better understanding that there is some athleticism in there that maybe wasn't displayed on tape throughout the last couple of seasons. So I'm excited to see what that means. But we'll see next week.
Yeah, I know. I saw that's actually some pretty lofty projections for his 42. I don't know if you saw those, CJ. Those were pretty weird.
Yeah, I saw one had one data point or one tweet had him at like a 4.48. I'm like, okay,
no,
that's
I saw that.
Different quarterback.
I was like, hold up, is that what? Yeah, it was very strange, but it was like I said, it was in the same. I want to say some of the same projections with like Jaden Blue and some of the other guys. It was fascinating. So I don't. I think he will be faster than probably a lot of people expect, but I don't necessarily think it'll be anything that'll be earth shattering. Along those lines. All right. Thank you, Matthew, for bringing up those quarterback rankings there. All right, getting back to it. Let's get to a question. This comes by the way, it's for Ted, for you, Coach. Can we all just acknowledge how perfect and glorious the coach's facial hair is? I am envious.
Look at that.
You talking about this?
Talking about that, Coach. Yeah. You damn right. Meticulously manicured is what it is. Who did that for you? You get that professionally done, or you doing it on your own?
Professionally, what are you talking about?
Go to barbershop or something.
My own hair. I mean, I do it all, man. When you're old man, who gives a flip what you look like?
So you do that on your own. That's all you. Good for you, Coach.
Hey, they used to have a great machine that my father-in-law used to have. I can't remember what it was called. It was called the I can't remember what it's called, but you hook it onto the end of your vacuum cleaner. Back when you had those like tube like vacuum cleaners you pulled around, it's called the Flowbee. You put it on the Flowbee, you put it on that. And it's got these things that go around and these blades cut your hair, and then the air conditioner sucks the hair back into the tank so you don't have any hair. It's brilliant.
Commercial. It's on the
Flowbee. Look it up. Flowbee.
I saw that on an infomercial once, Coach.
Oh, yeah.
I swear, like 10 years ago.
Come on. There we go.
Yeah.
Flowbee. I told you.
I swear I seen that like for sale on TV or something.
Oh, it's like 1980s. The Flowbee was big time. Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
I don't use it anymore, but I need to. It's got different. Yeah, you can cut it. If you want to cut it high and tight, you can do that. A little longer on the top.
Wow.
My name is Rick Huntz. Better than Mike, I guess. But anyway, he's got some Flowbee stuff there.
Wow. See, like I said, I remember seeing that on like an infomercial. I did not know it had been around that long. Maybe it's a long time ago I saw it. I do remember that. I've seen that on TV for sale.
Yeah.
I have seen it on sale. That's crazy. Wow. See, there you go. It sucks. It sucks.
I missed that one.
Is that the slogan?
I should have paid a little more attention to my Flowbee.
That is not the slogan. It sucks as it cuts.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man. I'm gonna read a sponsorship so we can get out of trouble.
Yeah, there you go. Let's go.
Let's thank our friends.
And now, thank you for our friends at Flowbee. We suck when we cut.
It sucked. Oh man. Oh, I gotta see that. That's a real. That can't be the real slogan. It can't be.
Yeah, it's real. Well, I don't know. I don't know about the slogan.
Oh man. I know the Flowbee's real. I'm talking about the slogan that it sucks as it cuts or cuts as it sucks. I don't even know which one it is. Can we thank Flat Creek, please? The most awarded wine in Texas is actually located closest to Austin. That's right, folks. Flat Creek State Winery, just minutes from downtown Austin, and they've won award after award for their vintage wine, Super Texan. Super Texan is now available at your local specs, so give it a try. Of course, not only is it available at your local specs, but also I saw a display at our local Central Market. So it's getting out. The good word is getting out about Flat Creek State Winery. Also, it's a gorgeous venue in addition to making some of the best premium wines in the market today. It's also an amazing venue with barbecues and wine tastings and tours every single weekend. Perfect for a day date with your significant other or a weekend getaway with your significant other. That's Flat Creek Estate Winery. Check them out at flatcreekestate.com. We really appreciate them for being part of the Owen Texas football family and sponsoring the winning drive. Oh, man.
There's got to be something in that line for Manscaped somewhere. I don't know.
You want to apply the Flowbee technology to manscaping?
Oh, yeah.
No way. You want to combine the technology.
I got a good slogan, but I better not say it. We may get kicked off the air.
That's exactly what we were talking about just now.
Yeah.
Oh man. I don't know if we can go back after that. I don't know if I can go back to just. I don't know how. I don't know how to get this back on track. All right, you know what? Let's go to St. Patty's Day, and it'll give us like a palate cleanser, and then we'll go back to Texas football discussion. All right, so St. Patty's. This is a good question because actually I saw this on Twitter, so I'm not going to take credit for it, but it was a good question, so I had to ponder it. And here's the question: is St. Patty's Day the holiday with the biggest difference between how you celebrated in college versus as an adult?
Oh.
Well, I haven't drinking any green beer as an adult. I'll tell you that.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's a big difference. Like St. Patty's Day when you were in college, even at Abilene Christian, coach, y'all was I'm just saying. But
off campus,
if there exactly is there a holiday with a biggest difference in the way you celebrated from your college days and being an adult now than St. Patty's Day? Is there another one?
Halloween's the only other one that comes to mind, Rob.
I think Halloween on 6th Street is a big difference.
Halloween is the other one. Halloween in your college days is crazy.
Yeah,
it is a wild time. Like
it is in Texas. I know that.
Someone says New Year's Eve, big difference for me as a college kid and adult. That is true. That's a great point, Rick. Because I don't do a damn thing on New Year's Eve anymore. I used to go out every New Year's Eve. It had to be out and about when the clock struck, boom, New Year. Mm-hmm. Now, bro, I ain't gonna lie, I've slept through New Year's a couple of times in like the last 10 years. Like straight up just
I've slept through it a couple of decades.
Yeah, that's right. That's a great point, Coach. It might be New Year's. Honestly, I think it's New Year's actually. Because in New Year's,
it probably is.
I could care less about New Year's now. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I'm like just getting to the point now where it's like, okay, 12:30 is around. Let's go. Like I'm out.
Yeah, you just celebrating and then you out.
Yep. We saw the ball drop. We did the firecrackers, the fireworks, whatever. And I'm out of here.
No, that's I think Rick G hit it right. I think it's New Year's actually. Might have been St. Patty's Day, but New Year's is in there. I think it's right. It's like New Year's, Halloween, and St. Patty's Day. Probably for most people, those are the good suggestions. All right, that'll help us get back on track. All right, let's get to a question here. This comes from Frank. Thank you for the question. How is the DB room adjusting to DB Sensei Coach Akina? That is a good question. I'll just speak my piece really quickly, just from just knowing Coach Akina. I do think, and by the way, it's not just Coach Akina, because now they have all these guys in new roles. They got a new cornerback coach in Mark Orfe. Nick Kanoto Hudson was around there, but he wasn't in this role as an actual position coach. So he's got a new role, new responsibility, all that kind of stuff. And then now bringing back Coach Akina, I'm excited for all the guys. Because, and you know what? Coach can speak to this too, because I don't know how this works from a coach's perspective. If a coach has been there, and I don't know if they mean to do this, and I'm not saying coaches do it intentionally, but there have been guys like this, they've earned the coach's trust already. Let's put it that way. All right, some guys earned, and some guys may have not earned the trust. They were still trying to build that trust up. When a new coach comes in, coach, a lot of times now I'm sure you watch film on the guys, that kind of thing. But it looked clean slate for a lot of the guys who,
no doubt,
right? Who may have earned that trust yet. Clean slate for them, for Coach.
No doubt. And if they do it the way they used to do it, they got kind of a wall of fame in each position room of the best of the best, And I bet there's not probably 80-90% of them he coached.
Yeah,
in that wall of fame in that DB room.
Yep.
So he can spend a lot of time talking about each one of them. Are you in there, Rod?
I don't know. They might have got bumped out. I ain't gonna lie. Go ahead, because it's a lot of great DBs on that wall, And like I said, later on this offseason, my DBU rankings will be coming out. I might have gotten bumped off that wall. I don't know how big that wall is. I don't know what's on that wall now. If there still is what Coach Akina called the money wall.
Yeah, money wall.
It's called the money wall. And when you got drafted or when you got to the league and made that roster, boom, you make the money wall. And that was always the goal. I'm just trying to get to the league. That's the goal. Get on that money wall. And so I once was on there, no doubt. At this point, now probably the most famous members of the money wall, I can't guarantee that's Rod B. So, probably got bumped off. But if you want to do that, can I get my whatever, my plaque or my picture?
You're going to be in the OG corner.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? That's what I need to do.
Yeah.
In the OG room, put it in the back. It's okay. I just want to be up on the wall.
Hey, I still think you would be invited in that DB cruise, in that bus that you're talking about.
Yeah, that's right. We get the bus.
Limo of a bus, first class bus, DB swag.
No, man. That's a good coach. We're going to try to get that picture. No, seriously. There's a movement that since Coach Akina's back, trying to get all the DBs that he coached back and take like a big kind of team picture type of thing. Like that is a movement.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, trust me. I would love to do it, and I'm sure a lot of the other guys would love to do it too. So that was
but who's going to get their feelings hurt? Because you got to draw the line somewhere. Where do you draw that line?
That's true.
How
Great
do you
point.
Pull out of that were like
it can't be everybody.
Studs.
That's true. Can we do studs? Is it enough to just do? Yeah, because he was around so damn long. You're right, Coach. You gotta just do studs. You can't just do everybody who started for him. That's too many people.
No, I'd say first team all conference guys, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's good, Coach. First team all conference at least. All right. Damn. That might be some really good players that we leaving off if they didn't make it though. First team all conference.
That might be just as big first team all conference. You're looking at a lot of guys there too.
They never made first team in the Big 12. Remember, he didn't make first team in the Big 12. We never saw that. He didn't make a first team all conference until he got this year and won through it. Sometimes you can be real good and sometimes still not make that first team. But Coach is right though. We got to cut it off somewhere and let everybody in on this thing. Hopefully Rod B makes it, whatever the cutoff point is. All right, let's just thank our friends over at South Point Dodge before we move on here. Hey, Texas football fans, you can score an easy extra point this season when you get to the point with our friends over at South Point Dodge. South Point Dodge has over 600 vehicles in stock right now, including a great selection of Ram 1500s, 2500s, and 3500s. Whatever your truck needs, South Point Dodge is your one-stop shop. So it doesn't matter if you're talking about, a trade-in or maybe you're looking for a new car or a used car, whatever you're looking for, our friends at South Point Dodge, they are Austin's automotive everything. And right now, they have a great deal happening. Speaking of getting to the point at South Point Dodge, they have a great deal happening with over 50 Ram 2500s right now, all marked down with huge savings over at South Point Dodge. Now you can go check out their inventory for yourself off of I-35 in South Austin and go there and check it out. Or you can go online and go to southpointdodge.com, make it easy on yourself and check out their fantastic inventory there at southpointdodge.com. So no matter what you need, that's Austin's automotive everything, southpointdodge.com. We really appreciate them for being a part of the On Texas football family and sponsoring the winning drive. All right, question for you guys here. And this comes from an article from Saturday Down South. Saturday Down South did I guess they, are basically projecting who are going to be the best. I believe it's essentially they're projecting what best units in the country. And then one of the articles predicted that Texas's defense actually would end up being the best unit in the country. So regardless of like I said, it was brought up by Saturday Down South, and they cover SEC football and do a pretty good job. Thank you, Matthew, for bringing it up. They think it'll be as good as any unit in the country. The point I want to bring up here, though, and we don't have to bring up the entire article. They're just talking about Michael Taft and Colin Simmons and Anthony Hill and all the great players. First of all, should we be thinking about this defense as an elite unit in back-to-back years? Number one, because they were elite, of course, last season. And could they be the best defense? Is it possible they could be the best defense in the country? I know that exactly. See, Coach, I'll give it to you first. I don't know if any of us have actually entertained that conversation yet. We think they can be good, but do you think they can be like elite again? Basically as good, if not better than they were last season.
Yeah, those 2 inside lineman spots, I'm not real sure about that. That would be, the Achilles tendon, I think, maybe to keep us from being top. So, we got to secure stuff in the secondary as well. But, we've got some depth back there. Defensive line, those 2 inside guys are my question mark.
Yeah, I'm right there with Coach. Again, it's just too much of an unknown. I think Cole Brevard is going to be really good. I think Alex January could take a step as well. But what do you get with the Hero Canoe? What do you get with the Travis Shaw? They've played some meaningful ball before. But to your point, Coach, Texas had 4 guys really last year that you could rely on in key goal line situations, right? Bill Norton wasn't one of those frontline starters, and he made maybe one of the best plays of the year on the goal line stand against Texas A&M. So it's unknown, but I think that the kind of the blueprint of what Texas wants to do defensively is there. And to the article's point, look, you have an All-American returning at each level of the defense. Exactly. We've talked about what that edge room can do in terms of creating havoc, disruption, speeding up the time and the pocket for quarterbacks as well. Replacing Jahdae Barron is going to be key. And I wrote about that again this morning. You don't have the best cornerback in football anymore, right? Jahdae Barron was tremendous, won the Thorpe, right? How do you kind of pick back up on his production without him necessarily being on the field and knowing that opposing coordinators are going to look at it and say, all right, well, that side of the field is now wide open because we can test the unknown guy. That wasn't the case with Texas last year when you had Manny Muhammad and going back to start for year 2, you had obviously Jahdae on the opposite side. They knew if they wanted to attack, it was over the middle of the field rather than one of the unknown cornerbacks, which is going to be a spot that Texas needs to fill in this spring.
Yeah, I wrote it down too. I mean, I literally wrote down cornerback and D tackle in my notes for that topic. If you can figure those out and you have a plan, kind of a contingency plan too, in case, plan A doesn't work, then I feel, because D tackle was a question mark last year. Last season. We just didn't know about it, but they brought in a lot of guys and they gave themselves, options, just in case plan A didn't work out. They had contingency plans available. And remember, Sark was never worried about the secondary, no matter how often he was asked about it. He was asked about it after the bowl game. He was asked about it after the spring game. He was like, nah, I'm not worried about secondary. We're like, what are you looking at, Coach? Because everybody else seems worried about the secondary. I don't know what. And that's why he's the coach. That's why he's making the money he is. He was never worried about the secondary. Turns out it was the best secondary in the country, or at least the best pass defense in the country. And so, I would trust Coach in that regard when Coach is like, no, I'm not worried about it. And he said he was worried about it. Remember, he genuinely told us, I'm worried about D. We need more big humans after the spring games. And now we need more big humans at D tackle. So, I'll trust Coach in that regard. And we'll see if he's worried about corner or D tackle. I'm with Coach. The D tackle position worries me a little bit this year. You keep getting thinner there. You had, you had a robust amount of talent there for 2-3 years. And it's just tough in this day and age to be able to replenish that year after year. And then corner, I'm with you. How do you replace not only the best corner in college football, but the best DB? So he was the most, he won it, but he's the most versatile defensive back in the country. You lost the most versatile chess piece in the secondary too. You put him at dime linebacker. You can put him at nickel. You can put him at, corner. You know what I mean? There was no position that you would get a drop off when he played. That's tough to replace too.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but it kind of goes back to Sark's recruiting though. He recruits players that are versatile.
He does.
And so look for somebody else to be able to step up and do the same thing. I believe we have some versatile secondary guys back there. Versatile. I'm not sure exactly what the pronunciation is of that, but you get what I mean. They can play multiple positions.
Yeah.
And I think we have those type of athletes back there.
Yeah, I mean, Jelani McDonald is the chess piece. I mean, Sark even said it. He plays nickel, plays safety, and plays that dime linebacker spot that Jahdae Barron actually was playing last season. So he is a versatile chess piece, but you're right, Coach. They got a bunch of guys that have position flex in their secondary, and nobody better to cultivate it than one Coach Aquino. All right, we got a super chat. We'll get to that in a second. Let me thank our friends over at Von Lane as we creep closer to the end of the winning drive. Folks, you've tried flying, all right? You've tried driving to all the major cities in Texas, Austin, Dallas, and Houston, and San Antonio, and it can be stressful, right? If you're driving or flying yourself, the smarter way to travel between major Texas cities is Von Lane. I know this for a fact because I have traveled and used the Von Lane several times to Houston and to Dallas and the DFW. It is amazing, all right? And for those even out of the state, actually, Von Lane connects Nashville, Memphis, and Atlanta, some other major cities. But let's face it, flying these days is a hassle. Security lines, you got packed gates, delayed flights, all for an hour flight. It's just not worth it these days. Let's face it. Also, driving isn't much better. Ever tried that same day round trip between Dallas and Houston or Austin and San Antonio, whatever it may be? The hours of lost productivity, emails piling up. You got traffic, unpredictable traffic to deal with, calls going unanswered, work left undone. That is just a lot of wasted, lost productivity. But with Von Lane, you can stay connected and productive. Von Lane changes everything. It's luxury regional bus travel, what some call a private jet on wheels. Sink into a plush leather seat with a leg rest. Stay connected with complimentary Wi-Fi. Enjoy complimentary snacks and drinks on every trip, plus delicious meals on select departures as well. You need to freshen up, indulge in hot towel service. You can even relax with eye masks and pillows and blankets to keep you cozy. The Von Lane takes care of every detail so you can sit back, unwind, enjoy the most comfortable travel experience on the road today. If you're traveling for business, like I said, you can recapture all of your lost productivity. I've actually done a lot of my research when I travel between cities on the Von Lane. And if you're a leisure, obviously traveler, you can sit back, relax, and get pampered on the Von Lane. And how about this? If you are traveling for a let's say it's a bachelor party or a bachelorette party, say it's a wedding party of some kind, football game or a concert or a special event, you can actually charter your own Von Lane coach for the ultimate group experience. So Von Lane first class travel without the hassle. See for yourself. Visit vonlane.com. That's VONLANE.com. Use the promo code OTF25. You'll get $20 off your first trip. That's OTF25 for $20 off your first trip with vonlane.com. We really appreciate them for being a part of the On Texas football family. All right, let's get to the super chat from the Nick Turn here. Thank you. The Nick Turn says, how much do we think Sark knew about Quinn's injury, and does that make you nervous that he didn't start Arch more? Thank you, Nick Turn. We appreciate that. Gentlemen?
I think he knew pretty well about the injury, right? You know, he was pretty cautious with, you know, the recovery for Quinn, the time off that Quinn needed. But he made it clear that this was going to be Quinn's team. And if Quinn was healthy enough to play football, he was going to be the quarterback of the team. Now, you can have the debate on whether or not some of those struggles later on were they result of the injury. Should Sark have had a shorter leash on Quinn? I'll listen to that. But at the same time, we saw a little bit about when he was pulled against Georgia and the firestorm that was created as a result of that. Did you want to listen to that for the next 3 months? I sure didn't. I sure didn't want to be in the, you know, sitting there at the press conferences having to hear him and ask about every single week. So for Quinn, again, for Sark, to me, if Quinn was able to play football at a level high enough that this team would continue to win, there would be no question that he was going to be the guy in year 3 going off into the NFL after this. Of course, you can debate whether or not there's a higher ceiling, of course, with Arch than Quinn, whatever. But the point is the team made it to the Final Four with Quinn Ewers as their starting quarterback. And so, no, that doesn't make me nervous that there was less, you know, of a ceiling or whatnot with Arch sideline. But to me, it's all just hindsight now that you can sit back and debate with Quinn saying that he was only healthy for 2 or 3 games fully in 2024. But again, you won a lot of football games with Quinn. So no, it doesn't make me nervous at all for Arch to have not won that job, you know, fully, if that makes sense.
Coach, what are your thoughts about, you know, knowing about the injury and sticking with Quinn, even though the injury may have limited Quinn in some ways? You know, Sark's a quarterback too, guys. So I think Sark's loyalty to quarterbacks is kind of what he puts himself in the shoes of the QB. Like, hey, man.
Yeah, I think CJ nailed it. Yeah, I'm right with CJ. I think you do the same thing next year if Quinn's in that situation. You know, you do the same thing.
Yeah. That's Sark been a quarterback guy, I think, guys. I think you're gonna get that with him, and it may be to a fault potentially at one point, one day. And some people say maybe already has been to a fault, but I just think that Sark is a quarterback. That's how he's gonna coach that kind of have that loyalty to him because he's puts himself in that position as QB at one point. All right, thank you, the Nick Turn. Great question there. We appreciate it. Okay, let me get to this topic here though, because I stumbled upon this, and shout out to Stats of War. I'm sure CJ, you followed him on Twitter. He's basically a data scientist. There's a data scientist that covers college football, and another one is Owen Phillips, and he's the one that kind of came up with some of these numbers. So I'll give those guys props. But there's apparently, and I'm sure coach that maybe Iowa State didn't come up with this, but they're the ones who kind of threw it out there at like a coaching clinic or something. And they called it their 12% rule. So the 12% rule is you basically take penalties, negative plays, turnovers, and drops. All right. And divide that by total amount of plays. So it's basically for, your offense, right? You're looking at mistakes on offense. Is basically what it's supposed to be calculating. And so negative plays, turnovers, drops, and penalties. And they said, ideally, you want the number to be 12% or lower. That's kind of count the 12% rule. When you take the number of penalties, negative plays, turnovers, and drops, divided by the total amount of plays. For Texas this season, they were at 14.5%. According to these numbers, which is actually third lowest among the power teams. It says here.
So third worst?
Yes, basically.
Wow.
Highest, yes, right. Third worst. Thank you very much. Third worst. Yeah. My apologies. But yes, third highest, third worst among these power teams, according to their numbers. Ohio State, just to give you a little perspective in the range, they're at 9.1% in that.
Wow.
You look at negative, and it's negative plays, percent of plays with a negative play, drop, penalty, or a turnover. But think about it, Texas was one of the national leaders in turnovers.
Yep.
But it led the country, or one of the leaders in giveaways this season. Probably a lot more penalties than Longhorn fans would have liked, right? There's going to be games.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of penalties.
Yeah. Negative plays is also something. You probably had way too many of those in the running game, just tackles for loss, things of that nature, probably, especially in basically those two Georgia games, probably. I think you got into I think you were close to like 30-something. You were in a ridiculous amount in those two Georgia games alone.
A lot of drops in the back end of the season as well.
Drops in the back end of the season. Yeah. And so it's just and what I've been kind of, I don't know, maybe I've been seeing this from a negative point of view this offseason. So I apologize if I come off that way. But I think actually, I feel like it's positive. I feel like this offense and this team is capable of so much more.
Yep.
Even though they've already achieved a lot, they've gotten to the Final Four back-to-back years. But when you look at some of the major issues, it kind of goes back to what we talked about, red zone issues and, turnovers and this team in the third quarter, things of that nature. You're talking about debilitating potential. Like these are things that would just kill a lot of teams, football recipe and blueprint, destroy it, but not for Texas. And so my point is that there's a lot of room for growth for Texas to get to, ultimately to the promised land. So even though I'm kind of harping on this as a negative, I just want to bring up that in terms of the data says Texas actually had a season where at times they were their worst enemy.
Yeah.
More often times than they needed to be.
Yeah, I mean, you look back at the Michigan game, it was Cam Williams with 4 false start penalties in that game. You had a number of snap infractions. You had a number of guys with holding calls to negate touchdowns, Rod. And I don't think there's any one stat in particular that kind of screams red zone failures more than that one, right? If you're going backward, or if you're shooting yourself in the foot more than the normal team, well, what more of a reason for me to think that you're not punching it in the area that matters the most than this, right? So that makes total sense. And again, I think a lot of that could be alleviated with an Arch Manning and his legs, his mobility and ability to get out of the pocket, extend plays, prevent those self-sacks that we saw at times with Quinn, and create positive plays, right? It wasn't too often that we saw Quinn take off with his legs and get positive yards. But when he did, and he picked up a first down or he extended a drive via that way, then it was like found money. It was like, oh, shoot. Yeah, we weren't expected to find a play or find 8 yards on that, but Quinn just found a lane and all of a sudden you got 12 and the chains are moved. That's great. I think that's going to happen a lot more this year. On top of that, you should have a full, healthy room of running backs as well. But the one big thing there is, and maybe this is more of an unknown because we have yet to see them work together, is Nato, Cole Hudson, DJ Campbell. How can they improve this run game? Because I do think that the run game fits their strengths when it comes to moving bodies, what they do as an offensive line unit, right? Nato plays with that mean streak. Cole Hudson now at center is a bigger body than Jake Majors, also comes from a wing T kind of power offense that only ran the ball at Frisco High. And then DJ, that was his strength at the back half of the season. So can that create a push in which you would have lost a yard or two previously? That's going to be really encouraging as well. So we'll see how spring unfolds, but I'm with you, Rod. It might scream bad for 24, but also if you were putting up that amount of points, moving the ball that with that often and that frequency in terms of yards, okay, you might be looking at a brighter 2025 offensively.
Yeah.
If you get the wide receivers and tight ends figured out, right?
No, it's fascinating to see some of those. I agree with you, but it's fascinating to see some of the numbers that we, in retrospect, Coach, realized how inefficient the offense was, but they had so many explosive plays that it often saved them. But they need to become more efficient and take care of the football better. Some of just the little small things. Man, this offense can really – it actually could – I guess is the question, could the offense be better?
No doubt.
And it could be, but they got to be better in critical areas.
Yeah. All these stats, you can make stats to say almost anything you want. I mean, back in my day, the only stat we cared about was the freshman 15. All right. And that's the girls that didn't gain 15 pounds their freshman year. They were dateable their sophomore year. That's all we cared about. It wasn't none of this, we got the fattest women in the conference. No, do we have who didn't reach the freshman 15? That's dateable material as sophomores.
That's the advanced analytics there, Coach.
Do they ever when they lose the freshman 15? It doesn't matter. Honestly, some of them need the freshman 15.
Yeah,
I remember going and saying they were too skinny as a freshman. Like, no,
but back in my day, in the mid '80s, early '80s, I mean, they were frying everything. It wasn't that hard for a woman. But it doesn't mean she wasn't going to be good wife material. Just like this stat doesn't mean we weren't going to be a top 4 football team. You can still be a good wife material and have the freshman 15. You can still be a good college football team and be in the bottom of the ranking with whatever that stat is you pulled out from Pro Football Focus or whatever.
He had me lost in the first half. He came back around.
He brought it back. He
delivered.
Brought it back.
Unbelievable.
Where's Coach? Where's he going with this? He brought it right back. That was brilliant. Damn. That was. You know what? It's gonna be hard to top that. I had another question, but we're just gonna end the show because we ain't gonna top that. We ain't gonna top that. Let me thank Hargo Roofing real quick.
Rod, real quick. Let me get your thoughts on this because
wow.
This is kind of unfolding as we were on the show. I know that we're about to wrap up. Deion Sanders just said that he's in favor of kind of having one of those fall NFL scrimmages where, you got the preseason game on a Sunday and you come in, the teams have camp together.
Yeah.
Fran Brown said that, hey, he and his team, Syracuse, would fly over to Boulder for a few weeks or for a few days and get some work together with Colorado. I don't know if that's actually going to happen logistically, right? I imagine lodging, travel, logistics, that's going to be a pretty big bill there, but could that be something that
it's
becoming that would be awesome.
It's becoming
great.
It's becoming more the NFL models, and Sark talks about that being the case. And NFL teams, coaches, they oftentimes bring in other teams during training camp, and they'll do kind of 3-day, joint practices and that kind of stuff against one another. That's basically all this is, right?
I would love it.
I'm with you. I love it. I think it's money. Now, who would you want to have this type of agreement with? Like for Texas, you need somebody that's got as much to lose as you. So who do you want to do it with?
I'd send them right up the road to Baylor.
Yeah, or UTSA or Baylor. Yeah,
I would do it. I mean, Baylor P4 program, what, an hour and a half away. I think you could easily hop on a couple buses and make this work. Now, lodging the whole team for that long would be an issue again. But, I mean, I think Baylor would provide a better comparable, competition for you than a UTSA, though UTSA's got some dogs, right? We saw how they performed in Austin last year. Yeah. I'd be all for it.
Man,
I hope it's adopted more.
I like it. Dion, see, and think about Dion he's thinking on a different level because I think Dion's also always thinking as a marketing mind.
Yeah. How can I market this?
Yes, exactly. Like I don't want to waste an opportunity to market something. He naturally thinks like that. But I love the idea, and we're getting closer to that anyway because they want to just make it NFL like, where they basically kind of turned into NFL mini camp kind of thing. So instead of just being a mini camp, why not just do? And then you'll get some real work done.
Yeah, and NFL too, Rod. You know this. You fight, you go home. You do that in these things, you're going home.
You're out. You ain't competing for a job. You out, man. You done. Mm-hmm. No, I love that. I think it's a great idea. Camp fights. Yeah, that's why I said choosing the right team to go up against is important.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to go against Texas Tech. That might not.
Exactly. There you go, coach. You got you got too much history. There's too much bad blood. You got to be careful about that. But you want just somebody trying to get some work in, that's not bad. Syracuse and Colorado, they ain't got no history. Let's go out there and get some work done. That's good stuff. Oh, here's one other little suggestions based on another topic we were talking about. Who's going to be the keynote speaker at Sark's coaching clinic? We didn't know. MJF says, how about a Manning as the big guest presenter at Sark's upcoming coach clinic? Brilliant. That'd be cool. You name a Manning, it doesn't matter. I'll take Peyton, Eli. Name any of them will do.
Great idea.
That's a great idea. Throw it in everybody's face that the Manning brand and the University of Texas brand are now we're working together. All right, and I like that. So let's get to our last sponsorship of the evening, and then we'll end the winning drive for today. Folks, thank our friends over at Hardgrove Roofing with offices all over Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. They will take care of all of your roofing needs, plus they're Longhorn friendly. They got partnerships with a lifetime Longhorn. My former teammate, Stevie Lee, usually comes on Mondays, but he's got some stuff going on today. So he told us to let you guys know he was going to miss today, but he will be back on next Monday with us. They're the most pro burnt orange roofing company out there. You can call them today for a free roof inspection, free 99, best price you're going to get, 512-645-3202, or reach out to them online at hardgroveroofing.com. That's hardgroveroofing.com. Know who's on your roof with Hardgrove Roofing. And thank you very much for sponsoring the winning drive. All right, gentlemen. Thank you guys for all the questions. I'm sorry we couldn't get to all of them. And we apologize about that. But if you do have some more questions or something that we didn't get to, please address them to the guys at Coffee and Football tomorrow, 8:15. Also, tomorrow we'll have our Tuesday night live stream that'll be at 7:15 tomorrow. And I believe myself, CJ, Levy Hogan's going to be back on that one, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So that'll be coming up tomorrow. So if we missed anything, any topic you want to discuss, we'll be here tomorrow for you. Thank you guys for all the super chats. Thank you for the questions. Thank you to Matthew behind the scenes. He's the real MVP. Really appreciate Matthew and all that he does. Also, thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to Von Lane, vonlane.com. Use that code OTF25 to get $20 off your first trip at Von Lane. Thank you to southpointdodge.com as well. Thank you to Ernie.com. Go get into that bracket challenge with Ernie.com, or go download the Ernie Sports app. Thank you to Flat Creek, flatcreekestate.com, and Hardgrove Roofing as well, hardgroveroofing.com. Thanks, Coach, for all the levity and the wisdom. All right. Thank you, CJ, for all the knowledge, the expertise. We appreciate it. And thank you, Matthew, behind the scenes, and for Coach, and for CJ, and for Matthew. I'm Lifetime Longhorn Rod Beavers. Until next time, hook 'em horns.